that you probably saw that there were a couple other style sheets in there, and you may even think to yourself, well, Ryan, what do those do? I'm glad you asked. These give you other CSS layouts. So .NET 5 comes with YUI as a CSS layout framework. They also Nick Caliani, he also pulled in this other one, DNN layouts. He repurposed that from let's see. Yeah, he took what this guy did and he built on a little bit. The only real advantage that I saw when I was going back and forth between the two, between the super style sheets is what they call in .NET 5 and the YUI, was that super style sheets you can do a 3-column layout where all 3 columns are equal width. For Nick, that was really important, so that was why he included this. I've never needed to make a site where I had 3 columns the same width, so that was never a problem for me or a challenge I need to overcome. So it's there. It's documented in the book if you're interested in it. I probably won't cover it here because it's not really. I'm not excited about it. So the other thing that's in here that is really cool is this DNN rounded corners. So this DNN rounded corners allows you to create CSS-based rounded corner layouts. All right. So basically, what you need to do to make this work, you need to slice up an image into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 6, 8. Yeah. So and then if you have a background image, you have a background image. So basically, what you do is you slice this up into an image that repeats horizontally, an image that repeats vertically, and then you can use one that repeats the bottom and one that repeats on the right. You've got a fixed width image to do your corners, and then you're able to do this rounded corner layout in CSS. So this is a challenge for those of you that try to do rounded corners and to get that work with a CSS-based layout. Most times you're like, okay, I quit. I'm just gonna put a table in there and nobody notices, right? So, but what this does is it gives you a little template, and all you have to do to show you. Okay, so all you have to do is you just define what the images are and what the width is. Okay? So you see I've got my northwest background image, which if you think about it, northwest is top left. My northwest background image is that. My north, which is the one that repeats horizontally across the top, that's my background image for that. Northeast, fixed image, that's that. And it actually, you don't have to put any of the widths in for any of these. It figures it all out. And then you just set what your main content area width is. So if you wanted to just stretch or take up all of the space that's available to it, then you don't put in a width for the main, for the content block that wraps around it. And then basically it still expands. It just expands to that div that you set the width on. That's inside of it. So yeah, so that's how you do it in the CSS. And then you just take that exact little template. So that's this one. So here's OS skin. I have 20 files open. 1 minute. Oh, that's why I can find it. It's over here. And I knew that I would go looking for it, so I opened it up for myself, and I left it open. So, to do the rounded corners, all you need to do is just copy and paste this template and have all these in the exact order that they're there. And of course, if you need to look for this template, you can find it in. Where can you find it? That'd be a good place. You can find it in the book. You can also find it in the course in the minimal entropy skin. No, just actually not minimal entropy. and the atrophy skin that comes with that DotNetNuke 5, and I'm sure that if I don't blog about it, someone else is going to blog about it too. So you can find information on it without paying for it, but of course if you want to. So yeah, so all you have to do is just put this in there. You got a class that wraps it, or you got a div that wraps it with a rounded corners class, and then you just have the class of W, E, N, and W, E, all down the line like that. And then you got a place where you put your content. So here's where I put my content page, and then you got a place where you put a footer too. It just works.
Very nice.
For those of you who ever try to do this, you're like, oh, actually, I use this for the res form.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank
If
you.
you want to see an example, it's in your code.
Thank you.
So that's rounded corners. We talked about UI. We talked about CSS-based layout. I've got 5 minutes left. Would you rather
You have
do
15,
a
I
couple
think.
SEO tricks, or would you rather do questions and answers?
You have 15 minutes.
Go to
I have 15? All right, let's get some good questions. So let's talk a little bit about SEO. Now, just as a disclaimer, I was pretty good about SEO until I got a client in Orlando called DataBank, and I got him from Will. Amazing, amazing SEO company. They've really made a science of making DotNetNuke search engine optimized, and they did a lot of it by not using DotNetNuke in certain parts of DotNetNuke. But I just want to share some of what I've learned through there. We've done a couple of campaigns, and we've had a lot of success in this. We've really changed the way we do websites over the past year to really be more search engine optimized. Because we've really seen what happens when you are search engine optimized, when your sites are search engine optimized, in terms of being able to get traffic, because you can index better. And if you make money from your website, then that's really important, right? So I don't know too many people that put websites out there. Well, there are a lot of people that put websites out there for no purpose. Think about it. For those of you that want to make money off your websites, search engine optimization is important. You know that. So we're going to skip accessibility. Okay. So a couple of tips. One, the most important content in your site, you want to be at the very top of your skin. Okay. So if you're going to have the most important content in your content pane, put your content pane at the very top of your skin. Put everything else after, because everything else is noise, and the further down your content is, the less important it is, and that's what you're telling search engines, right? So in a typical, DotNetNuke or even a typical design mindset, that's kind of counterintuitive, right? Because from design, you want to have your logo at the top left, and so you say that the way people look at a website, they start at the top left and they go into a circle like this, right? So they do a backwards C. So they start up top, they do a circle, and they come back to the bottom left. So if you want your logo up here, you put your menu across the top. So they're going to see your logo, they're going to see your menu, and then they're going to browse your content, and they're going to come back, and they're going to see any banner ads you got on the website, right? So this is kind of counterintuitive. So because you're going to have your menu up there, and especially if you're using the DotNetNuke menu, which I highly recommend you do not use the DotNetNuke menu for search engine optimization purposes, or for search engine optimization.
Do you have a preferred one to use?
Telerik. Yeah, Telerik has a.
Of course, it's the most expensive one. Just like,
Honestly, I mean, if you think about, let's say that you build 25 an hour, okay? And if you do, please.
No, it's worth the money.
Because I have some work for you. Let's say you build 25 an hour, and it takes you 10 hours to get your site, or to get your menu skinned and looking good. Then you spent the $250 you would have spent on the menu, and you don't have a menu that's accessible. So the Telerik menu handles accessibility as well, and you don't have a menu that's being indexed because all the clicks are handled in JavaScript, right? So it's not a no-brainer. It's worth the $250. I mean, if you're a designer and you do services for somebody else, and you're delivering skins, eat the $250 because you're delivering more quality over the course of the skins and designs delivered, right? It's worth it to your clients. You're gonna deliver better to your clients. They're gonna come back to you, and you're gonna get better results for them. Search engine optimization through search engine optimization. So back to this point, your most important content should go at the top. So your menu is going to repeat on every page. Google's going to see that, but you do want your menu